Good day and welcome to this week's edition of Tourismus Namibia. And once again, we obviously bring you topics and some destinations, as well as finally to the point. And under topics today, we'll be looking at cheetahs, quite a funny situation there that developed in India after we exported cheetahs to India. And then secondly, we'll be having a look at DHPS, that's the German private school here in Windhoek. They had quite a nice thing going on there. Very good example set for other schools. And then finally, we'll have a look at the old wheelers. After the show last week, they obviously had their day of the old wheelers. So very nice a little fest that they had there. Then under the destinations, we'll have a look at Deluxe Coffee Works, a nice little thingy there brought to by one of my colleagues. And then after that, we'll have a look at Archer's Land. It's a bit of a different item, not obviously to the liking of everybody, but it's interesting nevertheless. And then obviously under To the Point, we'll have a look at something special. In this case, it was the handing over of some equipment and vehicles to the MFT donated by Germany, and there's a bit of an interesting angle on that one. Yeah, those are our topics, destinations, and then obviously To the Point. My name is Frank Steffen, as you could see earlier on the screen, and I welcome you to this show. First up, obviously, it's topics. Right, up first we, under topics today, talk about cheetahs. You will remember that recently we took a number of cheetahs, exported them to India, and it was quite a big thing because India received them on their national day. The cheetahs obviously being organized by the CCF, that's the Cheetah Foundation here in the Conservation Foundation that we've got in Namibia. I actually took this photo a few years back at the CCF, where they obviously tried to catch up with animals that have had a hard time as well. So not all of their cheetahs are in captivity, but some are, depending on what they've gone through in life. Now, what was the interesting part is that in India, you suddenly had this guy from Maharashtra Pradesh Congress Committee Chairman, Nana Patole is his name. He said that Namibian cheetahs have now caused the lumpy skin virus that has been spread in India. And he blamed it on the 8 imported cheetahs, which in reality obviously come from Namibia, but he thought they came from Nigeria. And he actually pointed to the fact that in Nigeria, this has been going on for a long time, always talking about Namibia, but meaning Nigeria, until finally everybody pointed out to him that he's got it totally wrong. So this is quite if it wasn't so serious, it would actually be funny, but it shows you how sometimes the opposition politicians can't wait to pounce on an item, quickly pointing out this and that, and so it sort of makes me think of way back when previous American President Trump spoke about Namibia when he meant Namibia. So clearly politicians are not always aware, and Namibia is not the center of the universe, contrary to popular belief. Right, anyways, so up next we've got DHPF. DHPS stands for Deutsche Höhere Privatschule, which is a private school, and it's a German private school in Windhoek. And they had an interesting initiative by their alma mater. As part of their little garden, they put up a hydroponic stand, which you can see there behind them. But obviously a hydroponic stand is not that impressive to look at as such. But the idea behind it is obviously super, because I think it's a good initiative to show children what can be done. Hydroponics is relatively new in Windhoek still, or Namibia, I should say, but it's picking up more and more. And so the alumni and teachers have decided, no, it's time to put up a stand like that, show the children how to better use water, more scarcely better, get their plants sorted as small plants, and then later on, obviously, have a proper production site. So I see up in Rundu, I've recently looked at a couple of hydroponic sites. So up in the north, it's something that is coming on. In Okahandja, I know some people are looking at hydroponics, but it's not that big a thing yet. So something that's worthwhile looking at, especially in Windhoek, where water is scarce, but one should say Namibia, where water is scarce. Right, and then something special I brought you this week, simply because it started after the show last week, the Old Wheeler, the day of the Old Wheeler, I must say. And I brought you loads of photos. You could clearly see people were enjoying to come together again. You know, somewhere there in the back, you can see somebody actually had dressed up for the Oktoberfest style. But this was not what it was. This was people coming together, reminiscing about cars and, well, just generally having a good time. The Old Wheelers Club had the stand where they were giving out memorabilia and all that sort of thing. So this whole show was actually quite well organized, I must say. Now, what they've done is they obviously have their museum and all these types of places where they hide these or store these vehicles, I must say. But they had actually invited all the old wheelers to bring their old cars. And they had up to 200 cars there at a time, but it became so crowded that some of the older cars had to wait outside until one of the cars left again, because this was an open item, so it wasn't organized in the yard as such. You bring your car, people can have a look at it. Now, some people park their car there for the whole day. This is obviously a photo in the museum now. But outside, some people park their cars there for a whole day. But some of them literally came, had a beer or two, and then they drove away home again with their cars. You can clearly see these are all in immaculate order and shape, and it was good to see, you know, these old NSUs. Most I remember talking to my daughter, and she didn't even know there was a car such as that. So really old cars. This is an old Mercedes truck fixed by Mr. Teubner. He's a farmer outside Windhoek, and you can clearly see this thing is well done up. Look at this old tractor, and in the back you've got these Jeeps. So this was inside, obviously, and then some of these items are clearly exhibition material. But still, I mean, look at this old Suzuki. Most people don't even realize how long Suzuki has been around. Left-hand drive, obviously, still. And the Land Rover here was also in immaculate shape. So some of these cars were really well done up. So what we did is I also spoke to Mr. Ralph Verica, and I've got a little interview with him ready for you. Plus, after that, I did a couple of videos just to give you that real impression of what was going on there. And I also captured the moment there where people were in the tent. So have a look.
Right, we're here at the Day of the Old Wheelers. In front of me is Ralph Verica. He's obviously been with this club forever and a day. Hi, welcome, Ralph.
Yes, welcome. Not forever and a day, but since 1988. I've been a member of the club, which was formed in 1986.
Okay, so it's almost as if you were a part of the old timers around here now.
Yes, in those years I was the youngest member in the club.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about the club. What does it all entail, and what does the Day of the Old Wheeler mean for you guys as well as the people out there?
Yes, the Day of the Old Wheeler actually came as like an advertising event. We thought it would be good to make a public event, not only open for members. We thought we would arrange something where everybody, being an owner of an old car or being interested in an old car, could attend the event and enjoy old cars. And it was our intention actually to get additional members. And we've been doing this for 20 years now.
Yeah, that's about the next question that I was about to ask Rolf. And he earlier indicated to me that he's not 100% sure, but this has been going on for a while now. Now, obviously, this sort of day entails a lot of organization. So how long have you been busy with it?
Yes, of course, there's a lot of preparation because it has grown. We've got lots of people. We've got more and more cars. You need to accommodate visitors. There are even more visitors than old cars. But we always cater for in the order of 180 to 200 cars, which we need to park, old cars. And then the visitors are just as many.
Yeah,
And
obviously even more, I suppose.
yes. So there's a lot of preparation. The Ministry of Trade and Industry makes available their property for us to park vehicles. And of course, we have to organize enough food and drinks for everybody to come and enjoy the day.
Yeah, and tell me quickly, we're now in the museum here. How does this work? I mean, I've just made a couple of videos and photos without end, and obviously there are many cars. So what is the sort of situation with the museum? Because I seem to see some of the cars who are here more often, but many of the cars are exchanging, then they're in, then they're out. How do you manage this whole thing?
Yeah, we obviously want to show the people interesting cars, but we also want to show a lot of change. So every 6 months the club sends out emails and you can apply for having your cars exhibited. And there's a selection committee which decides which cars are coming or going, and that's why in 6 months' time you will see something different which is in here. Now some of the cars will be still here, but others will be exchanged, or many of those.
Okay, and tell me the club itself, how many members does it have now?
I'm not 100% sure, but we are in the order of 500 members.
Wow.
Many of them are also social members, but as I said, 500 members, there's a lot of scope. And I would say maybe half of them have got old cars. I'm speaking under correction. Some of them have got many old cars.
Yeah, like you, how many do you have at this stage?
I'm not too sure, but between 10 and 20. I've got about 11 years.
Okay, anyway, so have a nice day and thanks for talking to us.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right, and that was the day of the old wheelers. Very impressing, certainly for me. It was. I enjoyed it very much. I actually remained much longer than I originally had intended to. So I'm sure some of you might have been there as well and just maybe saw yourself on one or two of the photos. Be it as it may, it was just a real grand occasion. And if you're a visitor from Germany or whoever, outside visitor for that matter, you will often find that it's quite a nice place to go in between when you have a free evening. Go to the Old Wheelers, and they've got a nice little restaurant there, and you have the opportunity to quickly enter the museum and have a look around there. So quite nice little place there. We spoke about it previously on the show, but yeah, that's more than a year ago again. Anyway, up next we've got destinations.
Bookings for Namibia Tourism Expo 2022 are open. The expo will take place from 3 to 5 November 2022 in Windhoek. To secure your booking, visit nte.nmh.com.na. And for more information on the expo, follow all Namibia Media Holdings platforms. The expo is supported by the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Forestry, Namibia Tourism Board, FENATA, City of Windhoek, and Namibia Media Holdings. Namibia Tourism Expo, taking tourism to the regions.
Yeah, welcome back. And destinations it is. This week we actually bring you destinations apart from the Expo competition that we brought to you over the past 3 weeks. Talking about that competition, we received quite a number of entrants, and so I'm busy, well, I've already copied them down, but we'll be working through them. And in the near future on the Tourismus Namibia Facebook site, we'll start actually promoting these items, showing to you what the potential candidates for Tourist of the Year have submitted to us, and we'll start promoting that seriously as from next week, so that we can find the 6 finalists that will be part of the Tourist of the Year competition going into the finals. In other words, being the people who actually get the opportunity to visit a lodge as sponsored, and then to find out who submits the best video material and promotion material. So it's quite a nice little competition, I'm sure. The idea is obviously for those candidates to go on a holiday at their destination in January, February, submit their material, so that in March, you as a viewer must help us to find the final winner, who can then win a 10,000 Namibia dollar. 10,000 might, some people ask me, but that's not a lot of money. I said, you know, in today's time, 10,000 is not exactly nothing, with everybody having a hard time. And considering the fact that you've already had a holiday that was sponsored for you, to then still get a 10 grand just as a nice thank you because you've got the best material, I don't think it's too bad. I think it's actually a very nice price. And so let's see what happens next week. Right, but we are at the destinations, and Deluxe Coffee Works is what we will be looking at this week. It is a contribution by Rene Marie van der Walt, and she actually wrote to me. She said, since making the leap from South Africa to Namibia, Deluxe Coffee Works has worked tirelessly towards a uniquely Namibian identity. With an all-Namibian team and management, coffee roasted in Namibia. And there are 2 of them. There's one inside the town, just across from the zoo, and there's one in Klein Windhoek. So you don't always have to say, oh, but I must first drive there. Maybe it's very close to you. So this one was the first one that I showed, the one on the left, just across from Zoo Park. That's smack in the center of town. So it's very easy to reach, and there Deluxe Coffee Works in Klein Windhoek. It's just opposite the mosque where that little shopping center is. There you find another Deluxe Coffee Works, and they've got quite nice products, these guys. So what they said, with all Namibian team and management and coffee roasters in Namibia, the Deluxe Coffee Works Namibia team are reshaping and uplifting coffee culture in Namibia when visiting Namibia. Their top secret coffee blend is definitely worth a try if you're looking to start your day with a great cup of coffee, as you can see there. Obviously, coffee culture is on the increase again in Namibia. It's come quite some ways now. Coffee didn't particularly have much of a following, but clearly over the past few years you see more and more specialties and stuff like that coming out. So this was quite a nice addition by Rene Marie, and here's the interview which she had with Clifford Steyn.
Hi, good morning. My name is Clifford Steyn and I'm the manager for Deluxe Coffee Works Namibia. I've been part of this family for almost 5 years now, starting in inception in 2017. So Deluxe Coffee Works Namibia focuses on freshly roasted coffee supplied directly to the client in a matter of 24 hours. So we import green beans from all over the world, roast it in-house, package it and distribute to all our clients. Currently we have 4 shops in Namibia that we try and get to our market. Our flagship is the Glenwinter shop located in 42 Berg Street in Glenwinter. So Deluxe primarily focuses on good coffee and good music for all our clientele. So the primary focus is the moment you step foot in one of our shops, you should feel like family. You should escape from that bad meeting you had, or a scuffle that you had in the morning, or the focus, the stress at home. Deluxe Coffee Works Namibia is a small but still family-oriented coffee shop where we try and do things the old school way and make it as fun as possible. So Deluxe Coffee Works Namibia has a coffee called the House Blend, which is a 3-bean blend, which is primarily consisting of the Brazil Cerrado, Ethiopia Lekemti, and the Honduras SHB. So this blend focuses on a citrus, chocolate, and raw cocoa taste. So we've been doing this blend since 2009, and we've been focusing to keep that recipe a family secret, but like I said, good coffee is always on the agenda for today. Deluxe was initially founded in Cape Town, and 2017 Deluxe came to Namibia with a focus on capturing the Namibian market. So how we do things differently is Cape Town has a very niche market. It's a different culture, but we still try and imbue that culture into the Namibian market. So instead of having thrift and cool hipsters and all of that, we still have our Namibian clientele. We all know how they are, but it's an awesome experience that we try and cater for everyone's needs. So we play good music in the morning, and we try and get to know our clients by the name and by their coffees that they drink in the morning. So we're not that far apart from the Cape Townian branch, but we are fully Namibian operated, fully Namibian staffed, and we're serving Namibians every single day of our lives, and that's the primary focus. So we get a lot of tourists from all over the world coming into our shops. People have been traveling from far upper corners of the northern African continent all the way to the southern point, and we have seen that we are a middle point and a stop for people visiting our beautiful country. So the reason why I think you as a client or as a foreigner should visit Namibia is because we offer a world-class coffee. In that sense, we strive to keep our standards to the first world orientated cup of coffee. So the coffee we use is worldwide accepted. We have good gradings. We use a mixture of grade 2 and 3 beans in all our coffees that are available, and we just feel that will be a first introduction into the country, is having a good cup of coffee at Deluxe Coffee Works Namibia, and then running into Namibia and exploring the rest that there is to offer.
Right, and that was Clifford Steyn talking a bit about his coffee and about why he loves Namibia. But up next, we're looking at Archer's Land. Now, Archer's Land, you actually find, I've found a map on the internet, which actually shows nicely where you find it more or less. Because you see there Windhoek in the center, and then that blue mark is Archer's Land. So actually it's not that far from Windhoek. It's close to, well, it's part of Monte Cristo. And if you look at the top, it says Archie's Dewa. That was where we once visited and Duistenbroek guest farm. So it's all around the corner. Actually, on Archer's land or Monte Cristo, you actually have a camping site as well. But anyway, here you can see it more clearly. It's just across from the turnoff to Derbra. You actually go in there with that road and you follow towards your left, Derbra being there on the right-hand side. But it's not far outside Windhoek. It's about 15 k's as you leave on the road to the north. And here you can see better. If you look at the photos just now, you will understand why I did this close up, because it's all close to a river. And that's the nice area. You know, here you can see clearly very nice camping sites and so on. And let's face it, it's a bit sensitive for some of you viewers, but the fact is they do archery, but they actually do it on fake animals that they put in the bush. It's just to, yeah, it's supposed to allow the kids to have a bit of an adventure. Here you can clearly see what's all about it. So very nicely set up. That's obviously when the water is actually full. And so, yeah, let's have a look at the video that we have ready for you.
Hi, I'm Fritz Rödel from Farm Monte Cristo, situated about 30 kilometers outside Windhoek, where we offer different activities. One of the activities is Archer's land, where we do archery, where you can do the bow shooting with an English traditional longbow. We have all the equipment there, which you can get. We do an introduction for you guys. You can come with your family, friends, kids, or even as a team building for companies. Yeah, and there you can shoot our 3D targets or butts. And we've also got a trail that you can walk on, which you can shoot the animals. Okay, on the trail, we don't tell you have to only shoot your 3 arrows or whatsoever. So you can actually do it like you want to. But we normally give 4 arrows. So you've got 3 arrows. So if you lose or break 1 arrow, you still got your 3 arrows for which you can use at each target to shoot.
That, of course, is very important. If other people like me that know nothing, I'm sure there's an arrow or 2 that gets broken, or is it difficult to break them?
They are quite strong. We are using the wooden arrows, which is professional arrow shafts. We build the arrows ourselves. We buy the fletchers, we buy the nocks, we buy the tips. And the nocks are glued on, the feathers are glued on. We've got a stand where we build them so that we do ourselves to keep it as cost effective as possible, and also to keep it as cheap as possible for our customers. On the arrows themselves, we don't make any profit because it's not, yeah, you pay for the activity. That's where you pay for, not for the, you pay for the broken arrows, of course, because I can't make a loss, but it's cost price or even below cost price. And no, they don't break that easily. Especially the kids' arrows don't break that easily because the bows are not as strong as the adults' bows. And also the kids, if the parents look after the kids don't lose it. If the kids run around all over the place, the kids also lose it, but that's in the hands of the adults. They are supposed to guide the kids along the trail. We only do the introduction, and the rest of the trail, it's the responsibility of the parents to go.
And if you say kids, is there an age, or is it open basically for?
We normally say like from 6 years old, but it always depends a bit on the kid's size. We've got the kid's strengths, but yeah, we've got different strengths of both, as I said. So also for the adults and for the kids, it's normally from 6-year-olds they can do it. There are 5-year-olds that can do it. There are 6-year-olds that can't do it. But yeah, we also, if we see the child can't do it, then the money goes back and it's fine. What we have is we've got 3 private ranges. We call the one is the river range, the one is the forest range, and our swimming pool range. And that range you can book in advance. That range includes tables, chairs, tablecloths, shading, and a braai facility with water, which you can rent. That's your private spot. There are 2 butts on there, maybe 2 3D animals on there. And then the kids can also shoot on their private range. They can also still go on our training range, still go for the trail, but they've got their own private little braai area where they can sit and enjoy. And yeah, we also do team buildings, for example, where we, for different companies, I don't know if I should call names or not, yeah, quite a few companies that we had here, where we do a team building, where the people come, they can have a little breakfast if they come early, like a breadchen and roll, something easy, bratwurst roll, whatever, and then lunch, proper lunch with 3 different types of meat, green salad, potato salad. We provide the whole lunch, drinks as well. and then they can have their food, go on the trail, enjoy it as a company, as a team.
You also have a campsite.
We've got 3 campsites at the moment, so we're not that big yet. We started, like 4 years ago, as I said. And we've got 3 campsites. Each campsite has got its own evolution block. Each campsite has got a lawn, braai facility, a fireplace at the ground for cake feed, and and we've got an inside toilet and shower, and back-to-back outside shower and toilet. The enclosed toilet is quite nice. If it rains, you can put your stuff inside. The back-to-back toilet is nice, especially for the tourists to have an open sky shower. But we book the campsite exclusively. If 2 people book a campsite, they've got their own campsite. They don't share. Got 2 self-catering chalets that you can book as well. That's at the main farmhouse, where we also have a dam, where we do activity like fishing, but there you also need your own equipment. We don't provide rods and lures and everything, because that will, and it's also, I want a bit experienced fishers or parents who know about fishing that can introduce their kids, which they are welcome to. But we want to also that we only have strictly catch and release. So, and we want that the parents and the kids, they handle the fish correctly. And we've got bevel, carp, and bream.
But you've also got the well-known tree house.
Exactly, yeah.
Explain a little bit what that entails.
We started with the tree house. It actually originated, my dad built it. It's already a bit longer, 6 years ago. I think it was about 2015, more or less. It was built, the idea was, at that time, we were starting the Kommershochland hiking trail, which starts at Duistambroek, goes over Ochizewa, that's our neighbor, up to Onduno, Godais, Godos, Onduno, and then back to Monte Cristo, and then to Monte Cristo, Treehouse is a sleeping over, and then to Duistambroek. And so it's a 6-day trail that you can walk. It's around about 110 kilometers that you walk in those 6 days. You can also book the 4-day trail, which is, of course, a bit shorter. There we, at the moment, skip Godais, unfortunately. That is also somewhere between 70 and 80. It's around about 15 to 20 kilometers a day that you walk. And then at each farm, you've got your sleepover with your shower, toilet, often on the farms very basic, with a shelter on top and a wall to protect you a bit from the wind, and toilets and water, and yeah. Then you can book it slack packing or backpacking. Slack packing means a car will drive your stuff from one farm to the next, from one camping spot to the next. You don't have to carry it. Backpacking, it's like Fish River, for example, but don't make a mistake. Kommershochland hiking trail, backpacking is almost more difficult than the Fish River. That's only because we've got a very high elevation and up and down. We've got a day trail of 12 to 13 kilometers that you can walk if you don't want to do the 4-day trail over the Kommershochland hiking trail.
Or do you have a website?
Yeah, we've actually got 2, which is originating because Archersland was not part of my establishment. It's contact@archersland.com. It's our email address, or info@montecristofarm.com. And the website is archersland.com or montecristofarm.com.
Right, and that was Archersland, and before that we had Deluxe Coffee Works. Up next, we've got To The Point. Yeah, welcome back, and To The Point today we have something different, and the reason why I'm highlighting that is I attended a press conference on Wednesday where the MEFT was handed 10 vehicles for the anti-poaching units. But it wasn't only 10 vehicles, there was a whole lot of other equipment as well. The whole value of that was almost 21 million Namibia dollar, and in today, in fact, it was 21.7 million dollar. And in today's time, where our government has such a hard time to actually find money for all the needs, it was interesting to see that the Minister of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Pohamba Shifeta, actually pointed out by way of comparison how the poaching of rhino, pangolin, elephant has suddenly become more over the past year. And the biggest reason for that was they were shorting material, equipment to actually fight it. So I've said it on the show before. I think Minister Shifeta must be one of the people who's most committed to his ministry, to what he does at the ministry and the role he needs to play in order to make sure that our tourism is promoted, in order that our environment is kept in order. And he sometimes has a very hard time doing that with a very limited budget. And so you could clearly see whether it was the executive director who spoke, whether it was just the part of the management personnel that spoke. They were truly delighted to receive this equipment. It was something to behold, to truly see how much it was appreciated, and the way that the press officer, Romeo Muyunda, expressed it to me. He says, you know, this is not a partnership anymore, it's real friends. Germany helps us so regularly in this regard. It's obviously always welcome. He says, but the more important part is really that we truly appreciate it. So on Wednesday morning, it was the woman that you see there in the picture is Ulrike Metzger. She's the Economic Cooperation and Development Officer of the German Embassy, and she obviously handed over those keys. There on their left is Beatrice Lucke. She is the head of the KfW, that's the German Development Bank here in Namibia, and obviously the donation was done via KfW. So they were all pretty chuffed about what they were doing there. You know, Bennett Kayunde there, you could see her getting the first key there. Here you can see it's much more than the obvious. It's real material for the bush. It helps them to survive out there, be protected. There were tents. I mean, we've got the rain coming up now. There were cages even for animals. It was specialized equipment to make sure that they can actually have all the equipment to do their job well. And it's obviously going towards the poaching unit, anti-poaching unit, I must say. Here you can clearly see better, even laptops to be able to work out in the bush, trace whatever they need to trace. And so really this was good equipment. This was not a token thingy. I mean, you can obviously imagine if you already received 10 Hilux buckies, you're not specifically looking at small fry there anyway. So the minister actually said, you know, we appreciate this help from Germany. The cooperation between Namibia and Germany has grown into a special partnership, especially in the fight against poaching and the effects of climate change. So quite a nice little thing, and he was clearly delighted to receive this equipment in this time. So yeah, I've prepared a couple of videos for you.
Representative from German Development Corporation and the head of the Development Corporation in the Embassy, Federal Republic of Germany. Representative from KfW. Allow me to join the Director of Proceeding in welcoming you here at our beautiful headquarters of the ministry. As a ministry, we really appreciate and always welcome this gesture from our development partners. I indeed stand by the protocol established by the Director of Proceedings. I see a number of our cooperating partners present here, head of a number of various organizations present here, and also colleagues from various projects we have in the ministry, I extend a special warmth of welcome to this very important event to us as a ministry. Our work being that field-based, especially when it comes to poaching and the management of our protected areas. This event where we are really receiving donation, which we dearly need, is a significant one. And we welcome you to joining us to witness what we are going to receive here this morning.
Germany and Namibia, this has been mentioned already, are since then more than 30 years development partners. And we have a continuous, successful, fruitful and intensive cooperation. The Namibian-German Development Cooperation is broad. However, the cooperation in the core area management of natural resources is certainly the broadest and most important in our portfolio. We have been implementing a variety of projects with the aim of improving livelihoods in Namibia, conserving nature and natural resources. Namibia is one of the leading countries in Africa, if not in the world, when it comes to biodiversity conservation and wildlife protection.
Consignment of critical equipment worth of approximately 21.7 million from projects of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Tourism funded by the German government through KfW. This consignment that includes 10 4x4 off-road vehicles, water maintenance equipment, camping equipment, wildlife monitoring equipment, predator transport crates, workshop tools, equipment for partial monitoring and reporting, and IT equipment. This will be significantly support our efforts to protect wildlife and manage our national parks efficiently and effectively. This donation comes at a time when the country is recovering from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is a global health pandemic. The pandemic subjected our economy to unprecedented pressure, and this did not spare our ministry at all. Our daily operations were severely affected, and it has been extremely difficult to maintain and manage activities such as water provision to game, wild crime prevention, inspections and law enforcement, human-wild conflict management, infrastructure development, rural community involvement, and also our participation in wildlife management.
But tomorrow when you come, this is gone. I'm going to repaint.
Take it to the northwest. You say I hate you. I'm not assigning enough now. Take it to the northeast. Now there's no more complaint.
Right, and that was, yeah, as you could see there, it was basically Theophilus Ngitila. He's the permanent secretary, or well, they used to be permanent secretaries. They're called now executive directors of MEFT. Then you clearly heard Ulrike Metzger showing her delight for that matter, and then clearly Minister Pwambo Shifeta, who actually spoke about those trends and showing that how COVID has caused them to not have enough material and not enough resources to actually finance the way forward. Anyway, that's to the point for this week, and that brings us to the end of this show. I hope you found it interesting, and we were hopefully able to entertain you. We'll be back in another week. Like I said earlier, next week we'll start introducing you to the candidates for the Tourist of the Year competition. Until then, I wish you a nice little weekend, what is left of it, and hopefully you'll have a good week ahead of you. I'll be seeing you in 7 days' time. Until then, remain well. Goodbye.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, welcome to another exciting edition.
Bookings for Namibia Tourism Expo 2022 are open. The expo will take place from 3 to 5 November 2022 in Windhoek. To secure your booking, visit nte.nmh.com.na, and for more information on the expo, follow all Namibia Media Holdings platforms. The expo is supported by the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Forestry, Namibia Tourism Board, FENATA, City of Windhoek, and Namibia Media Holdings. Namibia Tourism Expo, taking tourism to the region.